minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mass. Now we'll move on to Mr. Crum for 5 minutes.
Welcome to the committee, Champagne.
Thank you, sir. I don't see you, but I see you now.
I'm in the committee room, Minister.
Good to see you. Sorry, sir. I was looking at the screen.
Quite all right. I'll start with an easy question. The United States is Canada's closest neighbor and ally. Would you agree?
Indeed. I even, you may have seen that I've even agreed with the Secretary of Commerce to meet on a quarterly basis. So very well aware of that. And that's what we're pursuing with the Commerce Department to align our supply chain.
Yes, I understand you were in Washington on November 3rd to meet with the Secretary of Commerce. And in the press release that your government sent out after that meeting, it said that you and the Secretary agreed to, quote, reinforce existing cooperation under the U.S.-Canada Critical Minerals Action Plan, unquote. So, Minister, is your government still committed to the U.S.-Canada Critical Minerals Action Plan?
Very much. Absolutely.
Okay, very good. It was reported in the media on December 10th that this government would not subject the sale of Neo Lithium to a national security review. And so I have to ask, what message does it send to our American partners and allies when you say one thing in Washington 1 month, and then you turn around and do the opposite in Ottawa the next month?
What I would disagree with you completely, Neo Lithium was subject to a full national security review in Canada. And not only it was subject to a national security review, it was subject to an enhanced security based on the guidelines that I've issued in last March. And I think that's where I'd like, if you allow me a few seconds, I just want members to really appreciate, under the Act, there is not two national security process, there's only one. And it starts from the moment that we become aware of a transaction, whether from public information or notification. And the national security review starts on day one. And it's at that time that we make our assessment. And it's a multi-step process. But to say otherwise, I would say it's not in line with the Act, because the power of the minister to investigate starts on day one. So what I will be saying to my American colleague, if asked, is we absolutely did a full national security review of Neo Lithium.
All right. Now, Minister Champagne, in your opening statement, you said that the Investment Canada Act allows on day one for security intelligence agencies to review the transaction, including consultations with Canada's allies. And so I was wondering if you could elaborate on what consultations you did with our American allies.
Well, I wish I could go in more detail, but what I can say to you and Canadians who are watching tonight is that the process involved all the relevant departments in the government of Canada, but also our national security and intelligence agencies throughout the process. As you know, I am not at liberty under the Act to go in details of a particular transaction, but I can assure you that when we look at supply chain, and at the time where we're building a battery ecosystem in Canada, I'm very well aware of the role of lithium, of cobalt, of nickel, of magnesium, and of graphite. So therefore, you can rest assured that I understand the geopolitical implication of that, and that's why we'll never compromise on national security.
Now, Minister, in your opening statement, you indicated that not all critical minerals are the same, or not all are equally critical, if I can summarize it in that way. And
all are.
You seem to indicate that lithium was less important than others. But in a report from the White House from June of last year, they indicate that lithium and graphite are two of the most important materials for electric vehicle batteries. So I wonder, in our consultation with the Americans, if they also indicated that lithium was not so critical element.
What I was referring to, and I'm happy that you asked the question, lithium carbonate is for the Asian market. Lithium hydroxide, which we're about to produce in Canada, by the way, in 2-3 years, we have a company called Nemaska Lithium, which is about to produce they expect to produce 10% of the need for lithium hydroxide in the North American market. So actually, we are working very much and I'm working with Minister Will, national strategy, and we're very much in with our American colleagues, because Canada, in my view, could be the supplier of choice, because what you see from the OEMs, the cathode active materials, and the others, what they want is proximity of supply, proximity of market, proximity of manufacturing. And that's exactly what I'm talking to our American colleagues, is how can we define supply chain, because Canada has deposits, and we will be a producer in lithium in a not too distant future. There's a refinery being built as we speak, and will be online, as they tell me,
Thank
within
you,
2-3
Minister.
years.
Thank you, Minister.